we have created a logic that provides a listing of data for our components. We provided that logic with this extract data function, which built an SQL based on the columns from the table, and it automatically builds the joins. So once the data is selected from the MySQL, there is another logic that sort the fields and provide all the data with relationship from that for that component. So as an end results, we have, for example, if we choose profile, we have this array. We have 3 rows in profile, and as you can see, we have as in the right order the ID, the country, the city, the street, user type, user name, address. So you know the profile field, the profile table has only 3 columns, 4 columns by the way, and 2 of them are with relationships. So our logic is automatically join this relationship and extract the data here. So let's try to display this data with Bootstrap table, and also provide some filters so we can operate with this data when we have more and more content. So as now we have 2 templates. The first one is the component, which is created for the creation of the components, the forms. We have the main template, so let's create another one, which could be the listing template. Listing PHP. Okay. So we're going to include that template once we have that listing logic, which is here in this case. When there is no action create, the default logic is to list the data for particular component. So we already checked the data in rows. We have all the data we need. So now what we're going to do is to attach these rows and rows. I don't know if it's the right name, but let's say this is not a rows, but yeah, actually rows is good enough because it's abstract concepts, and the rows is the same as the rows variable. So now we have that in the template. Let's try to create a table. This is a standard table. We're gonna start with the static HTML. Okay, like this. Now we have this this is the head of the table. Let's check, or we just can see some example in Bootstrap content, and we have these tables. Let's check something. This is interesting. Let's copy this one, the whole thing. Let's copy it here, and let's include the template here. So include templates listing PHP. Refresh the page, and we have what we have pasted from Bootstrap. Let's make this one dynamic based on the data provided. Okay, now we go here again in the template, and so this is the height of the table. What we can do here is to for each template data rows as row, of course, or row, and for each. Okay, and here we had this one. We need this one here. Okay, and what we're going to do is to, but of course we need only, in this case we will need only one row, because this is the headline of the table. And what we will get here is the name of the field. So this is the name. Okay, let's check it out. So undefined array template data, so maybe this is not the right template data. It's here. Template mistake. Template data. Okay. And now we can see all the fields which are part of our component, selected component. Let's also put some label here, and this is the current component listing. Profile listing. Capitalize. Okay, good enough for now. Let's make dynamic the fields, the rows as well. So let's copy this one again, and what we're going to do is to make all these rows dynamic. So firstly we get all the rows, and we are not going to get the name, but we will need the value, so we just print the value. But we will need a second for each. So firstly, the first is for the table rows, and the second will be for the columns. It's like a multi-dimensional array. So firstly get the rows, which will have only the row here, what you need. Okay, and then we have we will for each the row with all the columns. Let me zoom this one, and actually we're gonna print the value. For each row we print all the values provided, and for each, and here we will need a second, and for each. Okay, let's check it. Alright, I think something is wrong here. So we first here we should print the table row, and then let me reformat the code. Okay, great. So now, alright, and let's remove the static part. Alright, so now we have a fully dynamic table based on the selected component. As you can see, we have a country, city, street, the user type, the user email itself, the name, but in this case this is the name of the profile, and the address. So maybe because actually here we have the street and we have the address here, the best way we will have the address, just write the street, but let's keep it that way for now. If we choose the country, again we have a table for the countries. If we choose the services, we have the service table created in dynamic, and we did that with one single logic without mapping of any of the data from the database. This is kind of very flexible. So we have the user. Yeah, that's definitely not a good idea to show the password here. I definitely will gonna fix that. And let's, here we have the city, and let's check how the things works together. Let's first add a new street. As you can see, we have only one street. Let's create another one. It will be in Bulgaria, it will be in Varna, and it will be, for example, street. So maybe it would not be street, but let it be this one. Okay, this is a kind of street in Varna. Okay, we added it. So now let's do this that way. Once we create a new something new, let's redirect to the default page, but we may implement this later. So now if I go to the street, I am able to see a new street added here. And for example, now if I want to add a new profile, I can use this new street. Okay, choosing which one, a new manager. What here, a new manager, Bulgaria, Varna, this street. Okay, so I have already created a user. Okay, I don't know why this is shown here. I should check it later. And profile name will be Tom Cruise, and the address in this street will be, for example, let's say this one. Okay, save. And now when I go to profile, as you can see, I have a new added row here in this street. Everything is provided.